5 reasons why film photography will make you a better photographer. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business. The first one is equipment diversity. Yes, I know, equipment is not the most important thing when we do photography. But with film photography, the good thing is that you have so many options to choose from high-end SLRs all the way down to small compact cameras, pocket-sized cameras. And the prices are quite low. So with a few €100, even less, you can get a stunning film camera. And that's one thing that makes it easy to start film photography. Yes, there is a small downside. Film costs and developing film is not that inexpensive anymore. Unfortunately, the supplies of laboratories and film stocks are quite low, so the prices are high. So there is a downside, but we can take advantage of that and take less photographs. I will talk about that later. Because it's so expensive, you will take less photographs, which is a good thing, which I will explain later. A good place to get a new camera for film photography is Camera Store. It's a dealer here in Finland that delivers all over the world. You can really find some gems from there. I've bought a few things, for example, this Olympus 35 SP, which I used on this particular video when I made a video with Ricardo and did some film photography, which is the inspiration for this video because I found it a bit fun. I wasn't expecting that it would be so much fun, but I will discuss that a bit later. And just to make sure that the Camera Store did not sponsor this video, they have nothing to do with this, they don't even know, and I'm mentioning them in this video. I just wanted to because I've used their services in the past and been very happy. And that is probably something that you might want to take a look if you are in a market for a new film camera. Do you have any vintage cameras or film cameras that you still using, or maybe you have something in the shelf collecting dust and would possibly try after this video? I hope I can inspire you to try film photography. I assure you it is fun, but it's a slightly different feeling. And then related to that is exploring different types of film stock. I know we have all kinds of film recipes and possibilities to edit our digital images, but still there is a certain similarity with your camera. You have one sensor, but if you have a film camera, you can basically switch from black and white, color, slide films and different brands, different stocks and different films from different era. They have a different distinctive look, and that could be something to explore. And maybe you can find your own style from that, and testing different films is also fun. What I usually do, the rare occasions that I do photograph film, is I use Ilford XP400. The reason is that it is, or it can be developed in C41, so normal film lab can do it. They put it in the color film batch, so it's not developed like traditional black and white films, and that's why I use it. And it has a nice look too, and that's something. And it makes it so much easier because I'm not into developing the films myself. Of course, that would be the whole process, and then printing them, making wet prints. But the problem is that I don't have the facilities to do that. XP400 is something to try. That's an easy start, so you don't have to think about the developing, and it's probably a bit faster too. And you don't have to get the prints. You can scan them later, or copy with the slide copier type of thing. And I do have a video about that too, which is something that might help you if you decide to test film photography. Is number 3, timeless aesthetic. The look and feel of film is something that we might like because of the nostalgic feeling. And I've realized that when I have advanced in age, getting older, nostalgia is of course something that you might start feeling. And yes, when I took those images with Ricardo and looked at them, they had some timeless vibe, because some of the photographs you didn't really know when they were taken. They could have been taken any time because the places that I took them haven't changed. Some of the places haven't changed. You can't really tell the time, especially if there's no people in the photographs. You can't really tell the time of when it was taken. It could have been taken in the 60s because the look and feel of the images is something that is distinct. Anyways, it is typical for a certain film, and that's why I really like that. The timelessness is good because they resonate with us and they are not tied into some certain time like most digital photographs feel that they are taken now. But films, you know, and that makes an image good if you don't. It's a more of a documentary as a whole, and it's not tied into time. I don't know, this is very hard to explain or explain in English, but you probably know what I mean, what the timeless photograph means. If you're not interested in testing gear and film, these first three reasons might not resonate with you, but I assure you that the two last ones are the ones that really make you a better photographer. But before that, why am I talking about film photography right now? Well, for two reasons. First of all, I was challenged by Ricardo from What the Film Photography channel, and you can watch the video from there, where I had a photo walk with him and used film, and I had the Olympus 35 SP as my camera, which turned out to be a really fun camera, and it worked perfectly, no problem with the exposure or the which means that the shutter is working properly, and also the aperture. And also, I've been thinking and talking about slow photography recently, which is something that film photography does, and I will talk this a bit later on this video too. And that's why right now because I was really inspired by the idea of slow photography. When you actually have to do it, you don't have an option. And then there's one interesting thing also, is that you also have a distance to the images that you've made, because I think it was a Tuesday when we went, and then on Friday I think I got the films and the scans which Ricardo did. He developed the film and then he scanned them for me. And I had a distance from the image, so I don't have the exact feeling of making the image, and that will distinguish good images from bad images in a way that sometimes you feel good when you're taking an image, but the image itself might not resonate with others because you're too close to the image. And when you're taking a distance from the images that you have made, that will make you choose better images. That's how I feel. And of course you can do that with digital. I've talked about that in many of my videos, that just, upload your images and leave them there and see how it is. Later, you might find totally different images, or like in some cases when you go somewhere and you have a good time and you take images, but then the images didn't really come out, and then they won't resonate with the larger audience. They might be good for you, your personal use, because you remember the event or the happening while looking at the images. So they're good in that sense, but not for wider audience. And have you tried film photography? When was the last time you used film in a camera? Or have you ever tried it, and maybe you will in the future? Please tell us in the comments down below. And then to the two last reasons, which are the ones that will most likely inspire you. The first one is surprise and uncertainty. This might sound a bit odd, because something that I've always said also is that planning your images, pre-visualizing, you get the stuff that you want. But then having a slight element of surprise and uncertainty will give those images that extra. Batman's cat, which I talked about in this video. If you don't know what Batman cat is, watch that after you've seen this. And that is always a learning experience that combined with uncertainty makes us more alert when we photograph, because being more alert usually gets us concentrated, and also that will get us better images. If there is a lot of uncertainty in your image making, then you will be more alert and more concentrated, avoiding that uncertainty. And that's something that will happen if you use film, because you can't see the image after you've taken it.
Even though I'm not the one that chimps every time.
When you're photographing for yourself, try to avoid chimping. And then also film cameras are quite simple and easy to use. There aren't too many buttons and bells and whistles in old film cameras. You just, there is the shutter button, maybe aperture ring and the shutter speed dial, and that's about it. And of course the film advanced lever where you advance the film and slows you down. And before the last one, I also have one extra tip, like I many times have had. And then slower process, more thoughtful images. When we're using film, we have to be slower. We can't really rush into the images because we have, let's say, 36 images in a row, and we need to do that because, of course, every time we click the shutter, that costs us money. It's a bit different with digital photography. You already bought the camera. The more you shoot, the cheaper it gets, actually. But with film cameras, or not the cameras actually, but the film cost. If you miss a lot of shots, it might be a bummer because, you lose a lot of money. So that makes you think a lot more, and when you're thinking more, you will get better images. I think I've said that like several times in this video, but it is a really, really important thing. But then, of course, slow photography does not mean that once you see something, then you need to rush and make that image which you have in your mind. So it's also slow, but then when things happen, you have to react quickly. So it's something between slow and fast. But mainly the thinking process is the slow part. And also when you are alert and looking around and being active, you also experience a lot more. With fast photography, like people with their smartphones, they don't experience almost anything. But when you're slow, you're looking around and making fewer images, you also experience more. You experience the situation deeply, or more deep, I would say. Well, I already said it. Sorry about this, but this type of content is really hard for me to explain in English. That's where I have my handicap. Sorry, but I hope you get the point what I'm trying to say here. But then, how do you photograph? How many times have you rushed into the images and haven't really experienced the situation? I know there are a lot of people commenting on slow photography videos that I have, that they do the slow photography. And if you do that, please tell us in the comments down below. And then the extra tip, and that is restrictions are good. I've already said many times in my videos that having one camera, one lens will restrict you, and you will start seeing with that particular focal length and you're good to go. Like when I go out and do street photography, I mainly have the 40mm lens and just one body. Like this one. This one had a 42mm lens, so this was perfect for me to test film photography. It's easy to start because the field of view is about the same as my 20mm on my Ohm 5 and the 27mm on my XS20. They all are roughly 40mm, and that's something that has restricted me to see things that are suitable for that type of focal length. And it doesn't mean that I won't lose some images, but if you use the same focal length, that will make you see things. Perspective and the eyes are kind of tuned into that focal length, then you are in a right distance. If you switch, like I've sometimes taken another lens, I'm always at the wrong distance at the beginning, but having the same, that will make you learn a lot. And restrictions also make you figure out things, you start solving problems. So having too many options will make your mind think about what lens, what this and that I need for this shot, and that is not good if you're photographing for yourself. You just have the camera and the lens and go out and shoot and see what comes out. You will learn a lot. And here is the video about me and Ricardo photo walking here in Helsinki with film cameras. And I hope you enjoy that video too, because we had fun and I hope you have fun watching it. But hey, thanks for watching and bye for now.